All right, so a lot of you have been asking, what types of enrichments do you use, Conrad? So this video is going to go over a couple of really good enrichments that I use, a couple across my clients, right? Some of them, this is more like an e-commerce tailored campaign, right? So maybe this is going to be a video more on the types of enrichments you can use within e-commerce to make your things really, really stand out, right? So first things first, let's say that you've already scraped your lead list, you have the data, you have the email, you've verified your email, and now essentially what you're trying to do is tailor your messaging to each person at scale, right? So obviously this is more of a e-commerce list, as I mentioned, but you can see here we have a lot of people here, roughly 1.3K that we've scraped, right? And we have their website, we have their LinkedIn, we have a couple of things. So first things first, with the company names. So Clay has a couple of different ways to normalize company names. Like they do have like a normalize company name thing here, but I've found that at scale, it just has a little bit too many errors that I don't really like to have. And sometimes the naming is just too long still, even if it cuts out like the ink. But let's just say there's a company with an association, right? Let's just say it's White Fox Association. Like nobody will say in a regular email or in a conversation, White Fox Association. They'll just say White Fox, right? So we want to apply that logic into essentially finding these company names and normalizing them for ourselves, right? So what we did here with this prompt, essentially we used GPT, all right, GPT-4o mini. We used the content ideation, not the web research, because we don't need to search the web for this. We're just referring to a company name that's already provided. All right, so here we can see normalize the following company name. And I believe the company name is somewhere in this column here. Yes, it's right here, right? So we utilize this name here, or we can also do it from the website. And then we added this type of prompt, like make sure it's 1 to 2 words maximum, title case, and the response is as if they were to say it verbally. Avoid corp, inc, weird endings, or any resemblance that it came from a database. Now, those of you who use Apollo or Crunchbase or ZoomInfo or all these other databases out there, they give you the entire company name, right? So sometimes it's like, in this case, it'd be like David Protein Inc., right? Or David Protein C Corp, or whatever it is. And we don't really want that. We just want the regular name. So what we did here is this prompt, and then we said only return the new normalized company name, and then we ran it, right? We ran it at scale. Another cool enrichment to have with Claygen, I would say, is to do the product names, right? So if we go to davidprotein.com and then we try to like find some of their products, like they have protein bars, they have, different types of wine chateau, maybe has the best selling reds, right? There's different probably categories as well. So what we can do is with Claygen at scale from the analysis that we have, right? So first thing we did was the website analysis where we prompted like act as a web researcher, an e-commerce analyst, an industry strategist, right? Objective is to conduct thorough research on this website. And then we're looking for specific things, right, that we know we're going to enrich later. So the reason we do this in the first place is like why analyze first and then enrich is simply due to cost, right? So if you guys have used Claygen or if you use Clay at all, you know that there's different costs for each of these things, right? So web research, obviously, there's more input data. So it's going to have to, actually scour the web more and it'll just cost more. Whereas if there's already that data there and now you're just manipulating it, it's much cheaper. So the expert pro strategy honestly really is to do a website analysis first. Try to find all the things you already have or want to find within the prompt. Like this is a pretty long prompt, right? And within the response, you have everything here, right? And then from this giant response, you can start to segment out what you actually want. So in this particular case, what we did from this website analysis was like the product names, the amount of reviews, and let's say their niche, right? So a lot of databases like Apollo would just categorize this as e-commerce, right? But they would never categorize this as like health, nutrition, e-commerce, or craft beer, or apparel. Maybe apparel they would, but this one's a little bit broad. So maybe we redo this prompt a bit. But in a nutshell, you're getting very, very detailed on the types of enrichments you can make with this type of structure. All right. Another cool thing you can do with Clayagent is find a competitor based on all the other information that's present. All right. So if we go to this prompt here, essentially what it is based on the website, tell me one primary competitor of this company, right? Only return the company, normalized. Essentially, we had this one, right? This example sentence. Example sentences are really powerful within prompting. So here we got some example competitors that we started using, right? And then we could, of course, go through and enrich it again or normalize it using GPT or the other types of Clayagent stuff. So hopefully this helps you unlock a couple ideas on what other enrichments you could make specifically for e-commerce. Another one we do is like, if this is the first product name, tell us another product name that isn't this one, right? That could be really good. Another thing could be like the amount of reviews or the amount of comments or the amount of social media followers they have or anything really that can be scraped from their website is initial enrichment that you should be using pretty easily, honestly, at scale, right? So when we add up the costs for 1,300 rows, it's not going to be more than, it's not going to be more than $50, right? So typically it's even far, far less than that, depending on the amount of inputs you need or the amount of enrichments you do, right? But here we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enrichments, and after we already got the data, right? So let me know if there's any other types of enrichments you guys are specifically looking for. Maybe leave it in the comments, or feel free to like message me on LinkedIn and tell me like, oh, you really like this video. I wonder how you do this type of enrichment. We do a lot of advanced enrichments, but this is just an example for e-commerce. So see you guys in the next one.